Hello, and welcome to Quantitative Reasoning, U.S. Budget Priorities, Lesson 7A, preview tutorial. Today we'll be going over, for this lesson, we'll be doing the USA Budget Priorities, 7A interactive tutorial, and we'll finish up on the follow-up video on the questions, just as we've done previously. So let's get started. So let's see, in this lesson we'll be writing and simplifying fractions, looking at pie charts, and we'll convert fractions to percentage and find the percentage of a number. So pretty straightforward. Use on your own. Next class we'll write ratios, solve proportions, and convert fractions to percentages. In this particular lesson, we're learning about ratios and expressing relationship between two different quantities. The example given here is miles per hour, and because time is in the denominator, we'll call this a rate. For example, if we're interested in representing the relationship between our personal budget and housing cost, rent or mortgage, and our entire budget, we could write a ratio of housing cost versus total budget. So for every dollar we spend on housing, we spend $4 on our entire budget. We can write it as a ratio of $1 of housing versus $4 of total budget. And as the reading says here, basically that reduces down to a 1/4 because the dollars units cancel. And both are budget money, and 1/4 our whole budget, or a ratio of 1:4. Now we can also take this 1/4 and by multiplying both the top and the bottom by 25, 1 times 25 is 25, 4 times 25 is 100, and of course 100 is the magic number for a percentage denominator. We can say basically 1/4 is 25%. So for every $100 of budget we have, 25 will be spent on housing. So let's do some questions here. A complete circle is made up of 360 degrees. Use proportions to find the number of degrees for each of the following portions of a circle. Represent the following as a ratio, and then simplify the ratio. Let's see, 1/2 of a circle is how many degrees compared to 360 degrees? Well, a couple ways we can look at this. Basically try to find a number to put here that when I compare the 360, it reduces to a half. So two ways of doing it, I can look at, gee, what must I do with 2 to make it 360? And, well, gee, 2 times 180 is 360. Of course, what we do on the top, we got to do on the bottom, we got to do on the top. So again, multiply by 2 by 180, multiply 1 by 180, gives me a 180 over 360. Another way to do it is do the shorthand algebra, which I showed in an earlier video, where we will cross multiply on the diagonal, and then on the vertical, divide. So this tells me x equals 1 times 360 divided by 2, which then gets us to 180 still. So let's see what the answer is. Oops, wrong question. So 1 half 360, 180, or 1 half is 180 over 360. Another way to have done it with my eraser button here. Well, just multiply both sides by 360, because that'll cancel this guy out. So x is 360 times a half, or again 180. So I showed you three methods. Look at the numbers that we have equivalent, or denominator, g, 2 times 180, 1 times 180. Do some simple algebra. Cross multiply on diagonals where we have numbers, and divide by the leftover, gets 180. Or, g, get x by itself, so I multiply by 360 to cancel out the denominator, and of course, multiply 360, multiply by 360. We end up multiplying these two guys, and again we get 180. One third of a circle. Well, again, one way. Three times 120, of course, down the top again. 1/3 equals x over 360. Again, a cross product. Divide. So x is 1 times 360 divided by 3, or cancel. Multiply both sides by 360. I think in all cases we get x equal to 120, because this gives me 120 over 360. This again gives me 360 divided by 3, or 120, and of course this gives me also 120. One fourth of a circle, which equals question over 360. Go on pause, and why don't you take a minute and use one of those three methods I showed on the previous two, and why don't you go figure it out. Okay. Hopefully one of these three methods, you even know that, hey, basically I can multiply by 90, 4 by 90 to get 360. So I guess x equals 90. I can do cross product, so 1 times 360 divided by 4, again, x equals 90. Subproportion, multiply both sides by the denominator. So again, you get x equals 90. So x equals 90 should have been the answer. And of course it is. And the last one. 1/8 of a circle is 360. So again, going around pause, and why don't you take a minute or two and figure it out. I'll see you in a few minutes. Again, hopefully use one of these 3 methods. And you found that if you take 360 divided by 8, you get 45. So again, 8 times 45 is 360. 1 times 45 is 45. So I guess x equals 45. If you use the cross product divided by leftover method, you got 360 divided by 8, which would again give you x equals 45. Or if you want with the ratio method, multiply by the denominator, you got 360 over 8. Again, x equals 45. Okay, 45 degrees. So, 3 relatively simple, straightforward ways of solving a simple proportion. Okay, let's see. So given the number of degrees for the proportions of a circle, use a ratio to represent the fractional part of the circle that each number of degrees represent. Reduce each ratio to the lowest term. View the example shown on the first tab. So 30 degrees over 360 degrees, reduce down to 112. So basically 30 degrees is 1/12 of a circle. So for part A, 60 degrees. So 6 degrees over 360 degrees basically reduces to 1/6. Because 60 goes in 366 times. Or 60 degrees is 1/6 of a circle. Twenty-two and a half degrees over 360. Let's see. In the calculator, let's do 360 over 22.5 and see what we get. 360 divided by 22.5 gives me 16. So 360 over 22 and a half is 16. I guess 22 and a half over 360 would be 1/16. Or 22.5 degrees is 1/16 of a circle. So part A, 60 over 360, 1/6. Or 6 degrees is 1/6 of a circle. 22 and a half is 1/16 of a circle, because 22 and a half is 1/16 divided by 360. Even when I say equal, in math speak, we describing numbers and you have is between sets of numbers, you kind of imply the equal sign. So now I'm going to basically sketch pie charts, pie graphs. Sketch 3/3 in a circle. Okay. There's a circle, and let's break it into essentially three parts, where 3/1/3 added up make a 1. Pretty close. Sketch 4/4 in a circle. In a circle. And the easiest way to do this is to make a half and then cut the half in halves. So I have 4/4. Eighths. Well, let's get the quarters again. And let's cut the quarters in half. One eighth, an eighth, an eighth. Since 2/8 make a quarter. Okay. And sixths. Easiest way to do 6 would be to start with thirds again. And then cut those thirds in half, because split a third in half, you get a sixth. 1 6, 1 6, and 6 sixths makes a whole. And again, 2 6 makes a third. Pretty close for hand sketching. Let's see. Review the prompts, enter response. Check your answers when you're finished. Which fraction were the easiest to create and why? Well, do the, I'd say the fourths and eighths were easiest due to starting with halves and continue splitting them. Rats. Yeah, that's what we said. Now, some of you may like thirds and sixths. Okay, for each fraction to a percentage, round each percentage to 1 decimal place. Each way of doing these is to a percentage is to first turn into a decimal. Then multiply by 100%. So 1/3, Paul's favorite doing a calculator, you get 0.3333 repeating. then I multiply by 100%. That's just going to go and move this guy the decimal point over. And one decimal place. One decimal place in the final answer as a percentage, not as a decimal, or 33.3%. So if all else fails, just do 1 divided by 3 on your calculator. And you get 0.33333 forever. Multiply that by 100. And you get 33.3333%. And then round it. Yep, see, 0.3333, multiply 100%, 33.3333, multiply, round to one decimal place, 33.3. 1/4. Okay, a couple ways of doing it. Again, turn to a decimal. 0.25, 1 divided by 4, and multiply by 100%, which gets us to 25%. The other way, again, go back to the very beginning, since 4 is a nice number. Hey, multiply both top number and bottom number by 25%, we get also 25%. But in this part here, they basically are saying, they gave you instruction, convert fraction to percentage, so quickest way is to go to a decimal, times it by 100. Oh, 1/6. Since I know 6 is not going to 100, I'm just take 1, I'll divide by 6. And so forth. Multiply by 100%. Like I said, multiply by 100 is just going to take this decimal place and move it 2 locations. Round it to 1 decimal place. 16.7. Yep. Ooh. Alrighty. View the prompt, enter your response, check your answer. Find the sum of 1/3, 1/4, and 1/6. Now, yes, you could put these in your calculator, but I'm a firm believer in doing fractions. And to add fractions, we need to find a least common denominator. And just by thinking about it, numbers for 6 would be 6, 12, 18, 24, or multiples. 1 6, 2 12s, 3 18s, 4 24ths. For 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Well, 2 common numbers. For thirds, 3, 6, 9. Oh, we're done. 12. But 1/3 is how many 12s? Well, 1/3, 2 6, 3 9s, 4 12s. 1/4 is how many 12s? 1/4, 2 8s, 3 12s. And 1 6, 2/12. And of course, these adds up to, well, we don't change the denominators once they're the same. And 4 plus 3 plus 2 is 4, 7, 9. 9/12. And 9/12 is 0.75. Just take 9 divided by 12, multiplied by 100%, and we get 75%. I don't fully agree with this one because you may screw up some of the decimal places. But 75%. So what percentage is missing? Now, we show 75% on the last slide, plus a missing component has to equal a whole. And the whole is 100%. So 75% plus what missing equals 100%? Well, in my algebra here, my missing part should be 100% minus 75% or 25%. And here we have the whole is 100. And we'll subtract 75 to get 25. Let's see, sketch or use a spreadsheet to create a pie graph using the 4 percentages in question 5. Bring your pie graph to class. Ooh, Dougie. Okay, so let's see, what do we had? We had 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/6. And I think we had another 1/4, which was the missing. So let's make a pie graph. Well, these two guys are the easiest one to get. One-fourth, one-fourth. 1/3, probably about like that. And a 1/6. Oh. 1/4, 1/4, a 1/3, and a 1/6. And let's see, percentage in the previous question represents some of the categories from the federal budget of $4 trillion. Let's add up what these are. So what's 1/3 of the budget? So 1/3 of $4 trillion. Okay, now here's a little secret here. Again, when speaking in numbers, of implies multiplication. So 1/3 of something would be just what's 1/3 times basically 4 trillion. So let's do 4 divided by 3, or 1.3 trillion dollars for whatever that category was. Yep, 1.3. 1/4 for the budget. Okay, well, oh well. What is 1/4 of 4 trillion? Or 1/4 times 4 trillion? And 1/4 times 4 is just $1 trillion. Four divided by 4, 1/4 times 4, same thing. One-sixth. Get this one correct in here. So the question is, what is 1/6 of 4 trillion? Or what's 1/6 times 4? Or what's 4 divided by 6? When you get them multiplied together. And it's what, 0. trillion, round, or $0.7 trillion. 0.7 trillion. That's a whole lot of money. Okay, so next lesson, it'll be 7B. We'll be going into more detail of the budget, because budget would be on these items. Let's see what the question here is. This category in graphical orders are shown below. Predict the 3 core categories that you think represent the largest portion of government spending. Don't look it up. Just think about it. I'll give yourself a one thing. I'd be willing to bet most of you are going to say military. But think, what other 2 of these guys make up the 3 biggest budgetary items in the budget? And of course, the readiness exam. Oops, lost my light. How confident are you that you can write and simplify fractions? Hopefully you're extremely confident. How confident you can create a pie chart? Hopefully you're extremely confident. How confident you can convert fractions into percentages? Hopefully extremely. And how confident you can find a percentage of a number? Hopefully extremely confident. So with that, on this recording, you need to look over these here slides again. Feel free to, and we'll be back shortly and we'll do the questions.